Hello guys, welcome to another TB59C video. Today I will read the book The Hunt for the Bismarck, The Deadly Hunt by William Shirer. This is episode 4 of my podcast, the new podcast. Okay, so let's begin. Chapter 4. Avenge the Hood. The sinking of the Hood plunged the British Isles into deep gloom. The seafaring nation, whose navy had ruled the waves for so long, had suffered a bitter defeat at sea. There were cries from high and low that the Hood be avenged at once, but the prospects were not high, for after the Hood blew up, the battle had continued to go badly for the British. On disposing so quickly of the Hood, the Bismarck and the Prinz Eugen had turned their undivided attention to the smaller surviving British battleship, the Prince of Wales. For 5 minutes, the Prince of Wales had been firing away at the Bismarck undisturbed, because she was now so new that civilian mechanics were still working on her gun turrets. Her firing had not been very accurate, and there had been several breakdowns. One gun was completely out. Others could be fired only with difficulty. With the Hood gone, the Prince of Wales now received a murderous hail of fire from the 2 German warships. One 15-inch shell smashed her bridge, killing or wounding everyone on it, except the captain and a signal man. The ship's side was pierced by several hits below water and above the water line. Several compartments were flooded. At the time, the Prince of Wales continued to fire defiantly with the guns she could, but it was an unequal struggle. For some reason, the cruisers Suffolk and Norfolk were not joining in, as was the German cruiser. Captain Leach therefore decided to withdraw, at least momentarily. He knew that strong reinforcements were not far away, so at 6:03 a.m., just 11 minutes after the battle had started, the Prince of Wales turned sharply around and retired behind her own thick smoke screen. The Bismarck fired a parting salvo at her 6 minutes later. The astonishing German victory had been won in exactly 17 minutes. The German admiral now made his first mistake. He failed to follow the crippled Prince of Wales and dispatch her as he had the Hood. Instead, he resumed course southwest toward the mid-Atlantic. After such a resounding triumph, why did Admiral Lutyens not pursue their damaged battleship, sink her, and then turn back to Germany? There, he and his crews would have been hailed as victors, and Nazi propaganda could have made the most of it. The blow to British prestige would have been all the stronger. In Berlin, Adolf Hitler, the Nazi German dictator, posed this question to Grand Admiral Erich Raeder, Commander-in-Chief of the German Navy. Admiral Lutyens had a good reason for continuing on, as was later learned from the secret German naval records. Though the British did not yet know it, the Bismarck had been hit by the Prince of Wales. Because of that, the admiral made a decision which was to be fateful for both sides. At 1 minute past 8 o'clock on the evening of May 24th, he informed Berlin in a coded radio message. 1. Electric engine room number 4 broken down. 2. Port boiler room number 2 is making water, but can be held. Water in the forecastle. 3. Maximum speed is 28 knots. 4. 2 enemy radar sets recognized. 5. Intentions. To put into Saint Nazaire. No losses of personnel. Fleet Commander. It seems a reasonable decision, considering all the circumstances. The Bismarck was crippled, though not badly. If Admiral Lutyens turned back through the Denmark Strait, he might run head-on into the rest of the British home fleet. If the weather cleared, he would be subject nearly all the ways to attack from British bombers based in Iceland and the northern British Isles. Or British islands. Probably the German fleet commander calculated too that the British had no heavy ships between him and refugee at Saint Nazaire on the French coast. On his way in, he might knock off a British convoy or two. As a matter of fact, the British convoy WS-8B with 20,000 troops were almost directly in his path. Furthermore, at Saint Nazaire, Admiral Lutyens would find his old battle cruisers Scharnhorst and Gneisenau. As soon as repairs were completed on them and on the Bismarck, he could then sally out to sea again with an even more formidable fleet. There was a sharp argument between the Admiral and Captain Lindemann, skipper of the Bismarck. Then later, a determined man who was very popular with his crew advised turning back. A few minutes earlier, he had urged in vain that they pursue the Prince of Wales, which they still believed was King George V, and sink her. Now again his advice was rejected. The German admiral ordered the course southwest to be continued. It was a command that would lead him to disaster. While the cruisers Suffolk and Norfolk, followed by the battered Prince of Wales, hung on to the Bismarck after the battle, the British Admiralty mobilized a powerful armada to avenge the Hood. "Sink the Bismarck!" was the watchword, and from all over the wide Atlantic, His Majesty's warships began to converge on the German man-of-war. Sir John Tovey, Commander-in-Chief of the Home Fleet, had been some 500 miles southeast of Bismarck when she was first spotted in the Denmark Strait. From Admiral Holland's reports, he had expected that the Hood squadron would intercept the German battleship about dawn, and he had waited confidently and calmly for the news of the meeting. When it came, he was shocked, as was every other British officer who knew the news. But the bitter blow only increased his resolution to get the enemy battleship. He therefore set an interception course for his flagship, King George V, with the battlecruiser Repulse and the carrier Victorious following in line astern. With luck, they thought they might meet the Bismarck at about dawn the next day. But these were not the only British battleships on the move. As soon as the Bismarck was sighted, the Admiralty had quickly ordered Force H at Gibraltar to speed out into the Atlantic. This fleet was under the command of Vice Admiral Sir James Somerville and consisted of the battlecruiser Renown, sister ship of the Repulse, the aircraft carrier Ark Royal, the 6-inch gun cruiser Sheffield, and 6 destroyers. The initial objective of Somerville's fleet was to race to the protection of troop convoy WS-8B, now well out to sea and bound for the Middle East, detaching the Repulse and the carrier Victorious from the convoy's original escort in order to strengthen Admiral Tovey's squadron, had left the troop convoy virtually unprotected. With the Bismarck at large, it was in a precarious position. The Navy could take no chance of losing 20,000 troops at sea. But as soon as the Hood was sunk, the Navy desperately needed to take a chance. The Admiralty directed Admiral Somerville to abandon the convoy and proceed at high speed toward the Bismarck. Some 500 miles off the Irish coast, the battleship Rodney was escorting the liner Britannic to America. But the Rodney, with her 16-inch guns, was a powerful ship. But she was badly in need of repairs. One of her engine rooms kept breaking down. In fact, she was scheduled to put into Boston for refitting. Her decks were piled high with replacement materials. She was also jammed with 500 war invalids for Canada. Her commander, Captain Dalrymple Hamilton, realized he was scarcely in a position to do battle with the most powerful warship afloat. Nevertheless, shortly after noon on May 24th, he received orders to leave the Britannic and make full speed for the Bismarck. Far to the southwest, the battleship Ramillies was instructed to abandon her convoy, HX-127, in mid-Atlantic and steam at top speed to converge on the Bismarck. 2 other cruisers, somewhere between the Azores and England, were also bought on the chase. It was a chase unique in modern naval history. Over 1,000,000 square miles of stormy ocean, 3 British battleships, 2 battle cruisers, 2 aircraft carriers, and numerous cruisers and destroyers were steaming at full speed toward the Bismarck and the Prinz Eugen. 6 hours later, their commanders and crews had learned by radio of the fate of the Hood. They were grimly determined to avenge her. Thank you for watching this video. There will be more podcast episodes in the future. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you later, guys, in the next video. Bye-bye!